A man who truly knows his worth will not stay in dynamics that cost him his peace. Not for long. You know that feeling. When you meet a man who's calm, grounded, emotionally steady, and something about him feels different. Not louder, not flashier, not desperately trying to impress you. Just solid. The kind of man whose presence feels like certainty. And strangely enough, that kind of man often confuses people because he's warm, but not easy to manipulate. He's loving, but not needy. He's attentive, but he does not chase confusion. And most women misunderstand him. They call him cold, detached, too serious, hard to read. But here's what's really happening. He simply knows his worth. If you've ever met a man like that, a man who seemed deeply interested at first, then suddenly became distant the moment certain patterns showed up, and you were left wondering, what changed? Did I say something wrong? Why did he pull back so quickly? Then you need to stay with me, because what I'm about to show you might completely change how you understand male psychology. And if you've been attracting emotionally strong men, but struggling to keep their attention, this video may explain why. Here's the first truth most women don't hear enough. A man who knows his worth is not looking for excitement first. He's looking for emotional safety. That might surprise you, because most people assume confident men are chasing beauty, status, thrill. And yes, those things may catch his eye, but they do not keep his heart. Peace does. Emotional maturity does. Consistency does. Respect does. The feeling that he can fully be himself without constantly managing tension, without walking on eggshells, without proving his value every day. That's what keeps him. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Many women unintentionally test that peace almost immediately. Not because they're bad women, nor because they're manipulative, but because pain creates patterns, and patterns become habits. A woman who's been disappointed before may start unconsciously checking, will he chase me? Will he tolerate mixed signals? Will he keep proving himself? How much can I pull away before he leans in harder? And listen, to a man with low self-worth, those games feel like a challenge. To a man who knows his worth, they feel like a warning. That's the difference. One man sees emotional inconsistency and thinks, I need to win her over. The other sees emotional inconsistency and thinks, this will become expensive emotionally. And he quietly steps back. Not because he doesn't care, arrogant, or scared, but because he recognizes patterns early. And I need you to understand this. Emotionally grounded men are pattern readers. Very sharp ones. They notice energy before words. They notice inconsistency before confrontation. They notice disrespect before it becomes obvious. They notice manipulation before it becomes a habit. And once they sense chaos where peace should be, something inside them closes, quietly. Here's what he's not saying. I like her. I'm attracted to her. But this dynamic feels draining. And I've worked too hard to build peace in my life, not to trade it for emotional turbulence. That's what's happening beneath the surface. And this is the part that breaks many women's hearts. He may still smile, still reply, and still be kind. But internally, he has already started emotionally exiting. Because once peace feels threatened, his nervous system starts choosing distance. Not drama, distance. Let me tell you what I've seen play out 1,000 times. A woman meets a secure man. At first, she's drawn to how stable he is, how clear he is, how masculine he feels. But because she's used to emotional roller coasters, stability starts feeling unfamiliar, and unfamiliar starts feeling boring. So unconsciously, she creates friction, pulls away slightly, becomes inconsistent, tests boundaries, introduces emotional tension, not maliciously, just habitually. And what happens? The very thing she wanted walks away, quietly. Because secure men don't fight to stay where peace is absent. They simply leave. And here's where it gets deeper. Because most women think a man who knows his worth is evaluating one thing. Do I like her? No, that's only the beginning. What he's really evaluating is, how do I feel around her? Do I feel respected? Do I feel understood? Do I feel calm or constantly activated? Do I feel like I can be myself around her? Or do I already feel like honesty will become conflict? Do I feel chosen for who I am or recruited for what I can provide? And girl, listen carefully. That last one matters more than most women realize. Because a man who knows his worth has usually paid a price to become that man. He has suffered. He has been misunderstood. He has been used. He has been loved conditionally. He has learned painful lessons about where giving too much without boundaries leads. And somewhere along the way, he made a quiet promise to himself. Never again will I abandon myself to keep someone else comfortable. And that promise changes everything. So when he meets someone new, he may be open-hearted, he may be generous, he may be deeply intentional, but he's also watching for something subtle. Does this woman know how to handle good love? That's the real question. Because here's what nobody talks about. Not everyone knows how to receive healthy masculine energy. Some women only know how to bond through chaos, through uncertainty, through emotional highs and lows, through chasing, through proving, through fear of loss. So when they meet steadiness, they don't relax into it. They test it, push it, question it, complicate it, and then wonder why it disappears. Here's what he's actually thinking in those moments. Why does this feel harder than it needs to be? Why does honesty feel risky here? Why do I already feel emotionally tired? Why do I feel like I'm being measured instead of known? And if those questions start forming early, you know what happens? He starts reducing access, not loudly, quietly. Replies get shorter, energy becomes flatter, initiation slows down, emotional openness closes. And then you feel immediately and say, something has changed. Yes, something did change. His nervous system stopped reading you as peace and started reading you as pressure. That's the shift. And here's what's heartbreaking. Most women react to that shift in the exact way that confirms his concern. They chase harder, explain more, text longer messages, demand clarity, create emotional intensity. And from her side, it feels justified. She's confused, she's hurting, she wants answers, she wants reassurance, she wants the connection back. That's human. I get it. But from his side, it confirms what he feared. This connection is emotionally expensive, and that sentence kills attraction faster than most people understand. Can I tell you something? A man who knows his worth does not fear commitment. He fears misalignment. That's different. He's not scared of love. He's scared of losing peace. He's scared of building with someone who creates emotional storms every time life gets uncomfortable. He's scared of becoming emotionally responsible for another adult's inner chaos. He's scared of slowly disappearing inside a relationship that drains him. That fear isn't weakness, it's wisdom, because he has likely lived that story before, and he refuses to repeat it. This is why some women say, he was amazing in the beginning, then he became distant. Let me translate that. He was open in the beginning, then he detected patterns that made openness feel unsafe. That's what happened. And I need you to hear this. Men withdraw emotionally long before they leave physically. That's the part women miss. By the time he's physically gone, he has often been emotionally stepping back for weeks, sometimes months. Quietly evaluating, can this work? Can I breathe here? Can I be fully myself here? Will loving her cost me too much of myself? And if the answer becomes yes, he chooses distance, not because he doesn't care, but because he finally cares about himself too. That's what self-worth looks like. Not arrogance, not ego, not domination. Self-protection rooted in clarity, boundaries rooted in self-respect. Love offered freely, but never at the cost of self-abandonment. And honestly, that kind of man is rare. But when you meet him, you feel it. His energy is different. His standards are quiet, but strong. His affection is real, but measured. His heart is open, but guarded by wisdom. And if you mistake that wisdom for coldness, you may lose something beautiful before it ever fully begins. So what makes a man like that stay? Not perfection, Not performance, not games, not flawless beauty. He stays where he feels. Peace, respect, emotional maturity, warmth, consistency. He stays where honesty is safe, where disagreement doesn't become destruction, where softness exists without manipulation, where connection feels like home, not work. And here's the truth that might sting. A woman doesn't keep a man who knows his worth by making him chase endlessly. She keeps him by becoming a place he doesn't want to escape, a place of peace, a place of trust, a place of emotional safety, a place where he can exhale. That's powerful feminine energy, not chaos, not confusion, not constant testing, peace. Now, ask yourself honestly, when love gets close, do you soften or do you start creating distance, tests, tension, and fear? When a good man shows up, do you receive him or do old wounds start running the relationship? Because if old pain is leading, you may keep pushing away the very thing you prayed for. Different man, same pattern, different face, same ending. And that cycle keeps repeating until awareness breaks it. Here's what I want you to remember. A man who knows his worth is not hard to love. He's simply unwilling to love at the expense of himself. And honestly, that's a standard worth respecting. Because healthy love doesn't ask either person to disappear. It asks both people to grow without losing themselves. If this hits somewhere deep, sit with it and ask yourself, what energy do I create when love gets close? That question might change everything. If this describes something you've experienced, drop a love emoji in the comments. You're not alone in this. This is Love Breed. And around here, in everything we do, we let love breed.